My friends, hello and welcome to GoldenEye SpeedLore, the series where we learn about the speedrunners who have pushed the boundaries of GoldenEye 007 speedrunning through the lens of the world record progression. Their stories, grinds, quests, catastrophes, and all that make speedrunning amazing. And tonight, we're going to dive back into the facility, perhaps GoldenEye's most iconic stage of all. This is Facility Secret Agent. Now, we did Facility 00 Agent, which has the same objectives as Secret Agent as the fourth episode in the entire series. And since then, I've kind of made the habit of, when a level is kind of a twin level, right? There's the same objectives on Secret and 00 Agent. I've kind of combined them into one lore, because usually the records, the improvements, 1 second cuts would take place at the same time. But Facility 00, I think it was the right call to make it its own episode. It has such deep lore with the invincibility cheat, and there is more than enough runs for tonight to deserve its own episode, as we'll find out. And what's kind of interesting, actually, is that ever since we did that 00 Agent episode back in spring 2017, only one new record has taken place on Facility 00 Agent, which is pretty crazy, all things considered, right? You'd think it's been 3.5 years, believe it or not. Only one person has tied or beaten the Facility 00 Agent world record, and we will get to that update towards the end of this episode too. But to start, of course, Facility Secret Agent. Let's take a look at the objectives. Gain entry to Laboratory Area. Contact 00 Agent, Rendezvous 006, destroy all tanks and bottling room, minimize scientist casualties. So Objective A is kind of a weird one. It's just like, as long as you progress partway through the mission, you complete it. Contact 00 Agent. So that is the different objective from Agent. You must find Dr. Doak and speak with him, and he'll give you the door decoder, which you use to open the door to Trevelyan, to the bottling room. Otherwise, the door is locked. On Agent, it's not locked. You can just strafe right through, so that's interesting. And then C and D are the stuff that takes place in the final room, which is kind of interesting, and we'll see how it all plays out. Minimize scientist casualties. Very rare to fail that, although it's probably happened. And let's watch a run by our pal, the Madman Fletcher. I'll try to post Fletcher's Beginner's Guide to Speedrunning GoldenEye, great little tutorial in the description of this episode. Obviously, he's improved greatly in the past 2.5 years since making this original submitted PB to the rankings, but we'll see. So he went in and eliminated one guard and got his key card, which is necessary to open that door and this door. And there's really no guards to lure to open either of those doors. So you need that key card. You need to go in and activate that console, which helps open gets that one of the doors open. He's going in this room and he finds Dr. Doak. Very interesting. Doak can be in 7 locations. This one and another one across the hall are these sort of 2 middle locations. There's 2 locations way out in the back right corner. If you were to go right at this fork, those ones are like huge wastes of time. And there are 3 locations in here. We can see the Objective A completed comes up. That's great news. So usually if you want to have a fast run, you're going to look for Dr. Doak in this area, the laboratory area. But he had a feeling that Doak was in this other spot, and he was. So now he pulls out the door decoder. All you do is press Z at this door. See, B does nothing. B, the door's locked. Press Z, and on a timed cycle, the door will open. Now you use your remote mines. You speak with Trevelyan. It can be tricky when you're starting out not to pass away Trevelyan in the flames here. Something that does happen a lot. Something that happens very often. But Trevelyan's kind of moved out of the tanks. He's kind of facing towards Trevelyan, and he enters the final area and completes the mission in 1:42. You know, pretty legit. On 00, that would be enough to get you the invincibility cheat. So that's, you know, that's not the cakiest thing to do. And of course, some people playing the game would have exited the level through this, like, you know, that epic conveyor belt over here, this conveyor belt. And you can exit through there, but equally you can exit through these doors. And the cutscene, the ending cutscene, will be different depending on which exit you use. And I believe that's the only case in all of GoldenEye where the exit cutscene is different depending on where you leave the mission. Even on Streets, I think if you run to the end in the tank, you won't be in the tank when the mission completes. So that's a neat little tidbit on Facility. Now, one of the earliest world records we have claimed on Facility Secret Agent is, of course, one of those of our pal and early champion of the game, Sterling Neblet. He claimed very early in his submission a time of 104, and this time has no video. This is from even like before the rankings existed. We also have this claim of 102 and 101 from Sterling. So, you know, and a couple, actually I'll pull up the early world record history here. You know, we can see Sterling, Wouter, Tim Grenby, Randy, kind of the usual suspects are rolling in here with these early world record claims. And no videos. I suspect that there are no videos because at the time, let's say you submitted a video for a 00 agent record, the 00 time probably would suffice as proof for your secret agent time. Like, let's say you submitted a time of 1 minute. Yeah, see, Sterling has a time for Facility 104, and so this probably would have sufficed as proof that he could get 104 on Secret Agent, and that's kind of how it worked back then, and fair enough. So, yeah, good times, and cool to see those ancient records. The first video we'll actually watch, though, is Wouter Jansen's Facility Secret Agent 58. So let's watch this one. He actually skipped to 58 from 1 minute. So it goes in here, gets the keycard, presses B at the console, strafes out here, opens this door, tries to warp through it, uses a mine to self-boost past these guards, tries to warp that door, sprays some shots there, takes a couple shots at that guard, objective A completed. Now he will almost certainly get Dr. Doak in the best Doak location right there. Doak is only there roughly 1 in 7 times. So it's likely that Wouter played dozens of runs of this pace to that Doak location. Doak wasn't there, and so he quit out the run or settled for a much slower time. We can see Trevelyan there is what we would call a bad Trev, maybe a medium Trev. He's not standing out from the tanks. And so Wouter times the leave and gets a nice time of 58 seconds. And yes, this was done in the year 2001. So when you enter the final room, there's a lot going on here. But basically, Trevelyan can be standing further out towards the stairs. Like, you see him there now. Sometimes he'll be like out here where the mouse pointer is. And that's what we call a good Trev, and we will definitely see good Trevs later on, maybe even the next run or not too much later. This is considered a bad Trev. There is worse. He could be standing like inside the tanks. Obviously, the closer he is to the tanks, the longer you kind of have to wait before detonating the mines, because otherwise he's at risk of passing away in the flames, you see. So you have to be more... There's like a very easy setup with a good Trev. A bad Trev that you have to be much more careful with where you're looking, where you're timing the detonation, and all that kind of stuff. I actually really struggled early on with bad Trevs because since I was using Control Cell 1.1 with cruise control, I couldn't back up. Obviously, it's learned since then that the best way to keep Trev alive with a bad Trev scenario is to look at him and back up into the end door. I would just detonate, turn around, and strafe right in the door. And when you do that, Trev turns and walks the opposite direction as you, kind of like, like if you're facing him, he'll walk towards you. If you're facing away from him, he'll walk away from you. Kind of like Boo in the Mario games. Alex and I actually struggled with this a lot during our 2-person run at AGDQ 2014. It was probably our trickiest thing to sort out before doing the run. So Trev can really get to trolling you. I don't know if we have too many fails tonight, but it's something tricky. I mean, because usually we'll see runs that are good Trev and they play out a much tidier ending. So, and actually, you could hear Trevelyan pass away. Take a listen very closely. So in this case, Trevelyan, like, definitely passed away in the cutscene, but because you've already completed the level, it counts as you've completed the level, and then what happens in the cutscene is it doesn't matter. Kind of like how with 2.x control styles you can shoot Natalia in various cutscenes. Of course, as young kids, we get up to all sorts of silly business in video games. Yeah, these critical characters to your mission, if they pass away in the end cutscene, it's okay. It still counts, as it did here, Wouters. 58. 58 would actually go on to be commonly tied. He actually got that time in June 2001. Over the next 2 years, you know, again, the usual suspects of that era would rack up the ties. Randy, Boss, Matthias, Ten Ham. And it's kind of interesting that 5800 has the same characters, but in a different order. Oftentimes this isn't the case. You know, let's see if we can find anything remotely similar. Not quite, but you know, nowadays you might see the same 5 players will get both times in the same order. But back then, you know, Randy seemed to have beat Wouter to the punch on Double O Agent, and so did Boss. But eventually they all got their times, and 58 was the world record for 2 years, which is a significant amount of time. But of course, in 2003 and 2004, Boss would come along and really change the game. I remember, of course, the 1 second faster is 57 seconds. I remember 57 seconds because it was the time that would have been on the Speed Demos archive page where I first saw GoldenEye videos for the first time of speedruns. So, or at least where I remembered seeing them when I kind of revisited the game in 2005. So yeah, 57 is like the kind of magical original number to me on Facility, Secret, and Double O Agent. This run is by Big Boss Man from August 2003, Facility Secret 57, historic, remarkable run dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, Sammy Limex. Thank you, Sammy. Let's take a look. So Boss is going to strafe through the doors. He's going to shoot 6 times. That lures this door to be open, you see. You know, he's got the key card. Presses B there. The key card will still need to be used to open that door. But that door's open, you see. And he progresses through similar boosting through that hallway, shooting his way through that, this is the laboratory area. Dr. Doak, he encounters Doak. What's kind of interesting with Doak is that, unlike, say, Mishkin or Valentin on Streets or Statue or Archives, you only need to initiate the conversation. You don't have to stay there for, like, 30 seconds. So this, again, is a bad Trev. And again, Boss has 4 mines. So Boss and Wouter have used 1 mine to boost in the level. And you can see that Boss really did a backup strategy, really making sure Trevelyan wouldn't fail. I bet you he had good runs where, when learning the level, he detonated maybe too early, or maybe strafed in without looking at Trev, and Trev failed. So, yeah, there's a lot of, I mean, we can see in this run, like, you know, there's a lot of, we'll say, strafe changes that, you know, a commonplace in the time. Like, In 2003, you're just trying to get a clean run. You know, you're not too worried. I mean, look, it stays all in right strafe there. That's pretty good. Left, right, left, you know, left, encounters Doke. And it just so happens that the Doke speech takes about 5, 6, 7 seconds. Maybe 5. So when you pause there, it like, you get the decoder like a couple frames before fully going to the pause. So the timing works out nicely. If you were to pause earlier, the decoder wouldn't be in your inventory quite yet. So yeah, see, that mine there on that last tank seems kind of unnecessary, but not the biggest deal in the world. Hey, it's still a beautiful world record. 57 by Boss. Let's take a look. By late 03, again, we see something interesting, and that's that Boss has 57 Secret Agent, Wouter has 57 on Tide 00, which is, I mean, 00 is a bit tougher because the auto-aim is much worse on 00 Agent. At least that's true of the English version, and no one knows the secrets that Japanese version hides yet. And you get less ammo, which may or may not become a factor later on. But I mean, you can see like on Streets and Archives, like Boss gets it first, then Wouter. Boss, then Wouter. On Frigate, Wouter, then Boss. Same on Egypt, same order. Yeah, but Wouter getting 00 first is notable for sure. Let's take a look at Wouter's 57 actually. See if it's any different, what is different, and so on. So shooting down the stairs as well. 2 clean shots. He's going to shoot the KF7 to get in there. Misses the boost. Gets a nice warp there. Oh yeah, and usually to open this door, you'd have to go into the middle room and like press B on a console. But it's so easy to just shoot with the KF7 and lure a guard to open the door instead. Obviously, a time-saving strategy. And again, obviously gets a good Dr. Doke location. Oh, 2 boosts, though. Kind of trolled him a little bit there. So he was shooting to warp. Kind of an interesting, very old-school strategy. Yes, Wouter must have boosted himself in the labs. I'll take a look back at that. Wow. Almost got trolled by the guards. 57. Quite nice. Yeah, let's take a look here. Yeah, so Wouter's throwing a mine right here. Self-boost. So that's a little bit of a time saver. A cheeky little help there. And, yeah, that's a good spot for the mine, because any later and you might pass away some scientists, which would fail Objective E. You don't want to do that. So throws the mine, boost, Doke. All the scientists lived. You know, they're full. There's like almost a dozen in this area. I think there's 4 in one room, 2 in one, and yeah, there's like at least 7 plus Doke. So you don't want the mine to, you know, damage them. And so that's a good spot for it. And that would actually become kind of standard practice, as we'll see in the following runs. In 2005, a whole bunch of people started to kind of ramp up their world records. Trent would get 57. Chervone would get 57. Let's watch Base Boost Alex Anderson get 57. This is in November 2005. So 7 shots there. Really fires into the chest of that guard. So that door is very tough to warp. Warping to the detonator can help, although Alex missed it. He had the right idea there. 2 shots there. A little bit of stucks there. Oh, bad stuck there. Oh, man. Ooh, jeez. Gets the door decoder. Decodes. So he's kind of... That was, like, very unnecessary. But what he was trying to do was... Gets a good Trev. What he was trying to do there was, like, avoid taking damage from the 2 guards there. No need for that on Secret Agent, really. But yeah, Facility 57, Very nice. Yeah, his start was probably, it was way cleaner. It was starting to look really good. And then as we can see, barely, Trev is out here. That's Trev's foot on the right. So Alex can just throw these mines. 1, 2, 3. Stand here, detonate, and then, you know, you don't even see objective C completed or B on screen. But basically, there's a certain amount of time from when you initiate your conversation with 006 Trevelyan before objective C completes. So you time that well to go into the end level when that's, time is elapsing and you complete the objective. Objective D, destroy all tanks in a bottling room, same thing. They're both kind of happening as in the fade, so to speak. And that might change later on. We might see the tanks blow up before we get into the end of the mission, but let's take a look. So Ilu would join the crew with 57. This was actually his third 57, so Ilu was going for 56. And I mean, based on the Alex run, 56 is definitely possible. Let's see if he'll hit the warp here. So he's already ahead of even Alex's run, which had a lot of mistakes, and was still 57. So gonna stay on right strafe. Gets through there pretty cleanly. It's another mine boost there. Gets the good doke. Again, only 1 in 7, so he must have quitted out many similar runs. Decode. I don't think watching the cinema is like a choice on this level. It's not necessary. I couldn't tell if that was a good or bad Trev. I really couldn't tell. Bad Trev. Bad Trev. 57. Very nice. So now 6 people have 57. And in March 2006, I'm an up-and-coming young speedrunner. Would have been, 11th grade at the time. Crazy times. I would play Facility Secret Agent. I was starting to roll in some world records. I would get this speedrun dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, Riley P. Thank you for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's look what I cooked up in March 2006. I'm using 1.1 control style, 16:9 display ratio for no reason other than I thought it looked cool, and got used to it. That was pretty good, juke strafing in there. Kind of deked him out. A little bit of a hang-up on the door there. I definitely had a bit of an unnecessary strafe change there. Oh, I almost missed the stairs. Look at all these... Oh, terrible. Really starting the run's falling apart. I know for sure I got good Trevs because I could not play out bad Trevs for the life of me. Again, with my 1.1 control style, as mentioned earlier. I missed the stairs! Good Trev, though, so that's a good illustration of a good Trev. You only need 2 mines to blow up the tanks. See if Objective D complete comes up. It does. I timed the ending. I managed to press B at the door. And I get a 57-second world record. Yeah, so at that point, late 05, early 06, would have been the point when we started that look-down mine technique. That mine technique is the mine technique that is still used to this day. I certainly didn't invent it, but it was invented around that time. 2 mines placed in that correct spot will blow up all 10 tanks. If you were a new player 20 years ago, you might think you need all 5 mines. But no, 1 in between those 2, and then at the end of that set, it'll do the trick. And I managed to press B at that door. In the previous runs, you would have seen they actually went to the door first, opened it, and then ran through the open gap. It's possible it's possible that someone might choke pressing B at that door. It's very possible that that could happen. It didn't happen to me on this run, so I'm thankful for that. I got 57. And this was what I'm starting to roll. I'm starting to get on a roll, starting to improve, getting some good world records. I've gotten a couple untieds by now, and I'm feeling good. Let's look at the rankings. I mean, check it out. I want to say like Alex or Trent or, you know, I don't even know who did the 2-mine strat at first. But we can see the kind of characters who have rolled in with the world records on facility at this point in time. Here's actually a perfect example of what I'm talking about with the getting times on the double levels in the same order. On Surface 1, Secret and Double Agent, Boss, then Chervone, then Elu on both difficulties. On Archives, Carl, Henrik, Alex, Mouser on both difficulties. Even on Streets, believe it or not, it's the first 9 players who get the times are in the same order. So that's kind of how things went back then, and Facility was very much an anomaly to that. Okay, now we're going to get into an interesting moment in the history of Facility. Very kind of bizarre event. You could have probably almost made the iceberg video in a way. Mouser Scribe, who would later go on to get very important records in the community. We can see he appears here with Facility, with Archive 16 and 55. He's a good player. Mouser Scribe comes along and claims to have achieved Facility SA 56, okay, on the rankings. This is him over here. And he claims to have achieved Facility 0057, and then he says this: let's play a game. I've hidden my most recent world record. If you're clever, you'll find it. There are no clues. All you need to know is it's somewhere amongst the large circle that is the elite. I'll return in 48 hours. If no one has found it, well, I'll just post it, I guess. And nobody found it. I actually spent some time looking for it. I thought maybe he had edited an old post on like an inactive section of the forum. Just so strange. And then he's like, I got Facility 0056. Okay, so this plays out April 3rd, April 2nd, April 2nd. On April 7th, ban me. I've put a lot into this decision. I feel like it's come to this. I'm not in any situation to support what I do, speedrunning. Yeah, I mean, he says he can't make videos. His computer's not working. Mind you, he did have videos for the Archives runs. So I'm progressing too fast. Here's my letter of resignation. He cheers on me and Alex. I mean, I can relate. I can obviously relate. When I was in that time, there were times when I asked for bans, times when I did not great things in hopes of getting banned. Because speedrunning can get to a point where it like overtakes your life. You feel like you're wasting too much time speedrunning. You're addicted to it. You have no self-control to like stop speedrunning. But you don't actually want to stop, you know? And so you're hoping that someone will ban you to kind of force an end to it. I think that's what Mouser was doing here. What's interesting is that the 56s, back then, like, you had months or years to prove your times. And so Mouser's 56s were on the rankings for a brief period of time. However, they would never be proven. Yeah, Mouser lore is wild, for sure. So that's funny. Use C-Clear, that's really funny. It's hard to believe that's been around so long. Yeah, it's crazy because Mouser's, like, his videos were very good, too, right? Like, it was just such a bizarre thing. Like, you know, this quality of run for 2006 was amazing. It was like the best quality we've ever seen at the time. Yeah, just very strange stuff. Mouser claims 56 in a weird manner. Never was able to prove it, and so like, yeah, just strange. That's all there is to it. I guess the important end result is that 56 was still up for grabs as an untied world record, and many of the 57s showed that it was possible. Well, who would be the one to get Facility SA56 as an untied world record and prove it? Believe it or not, it would not be Boss, nor Ilu, nor Cervone, nor Trent, nor Alex, nor Henrik, nor Jimbo. Yeah, we can see there's some RW peeking through. It was indeed yours truly. On the date of June 11th, 2006, I achieved this speed run. Let's take a look. Obviously, unfortunately, the digital camera, which I had to record videos at the time, couldn't record audio, so I'd always overlay it with a music track. The music I chose in this run, I'm not going to play it because it's like there's pointless. It was actually Paris Hilton, Stars Are Blind. Quite a hidden banger from the mid-2000s, believe it or not. A bit of a troll choice, a bit of a kind of, whatever. But that was the choice. As a result, the run is muted. But it's a remarkable and historic run, and it is going to be dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, Dr. Slochter. Thank you for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's take a look. I believe it was a Fujifilm camera, but it was like from the year 2000. Okay, here we go. And I mean, the quality is not great. It's been degraded a lot. I do a spinorama there, which is kind of interesting. Now I'm staying all in left strafe. I actually did that in like 57, but I didn't get hung up on the door there. Really nice door open. So I still do my strange strafe change unnecessarily there. I get stuck on that guard. I mean, does this show that 55 is possible? I get the Doke, again, 1 in 7 chance. Many similar runs quit out at this point. Now, there was all sorts of we'll say Clemens myths, even this is before Clemens, on how to get a good Trev. We know now it's like pretty much random, but at the time there was like, do you look to the right, then to the left? What do you do? And I guess I would get good Trevs more often than other people, which is maybe why I was able to get 56 as an untied. Yeah, 56 untied. And like I remember like Boss and others would really struggle getting good Trevs. Maybe me using the 16.9 display ratio had something to do. Who knows? But like a theory then was like, oh, you press Z to start decoding the door, then you look to the right, then you switch your weapons, and then like you cycle back to, warp with the decoder. So all sorts of myths and superstitions, and it is what it is. Open the door, bingo, bango. Facility 56 untied world record. Pretty epic stuff. Yeah, that was pretty cool. That stayed untied for a few months, which is decent at the time considering how unoptimized the score was. For it to remain untied even for more than a week was pretty cool. So yeah. Okay, so now we're going to watch, actually, the time would actually be tied by this interesting character, not Ace at first. Strange gentleman, Leonardo Santos. Let's watch Leonardo Santos' run. Opens the door, shoots 7 times. Really clean body shots there. warp. So he's in right strafe. I think I was the only... It was weird because, like, I'm the only one who stays in left there, which is obviously better. But then I, like, change strafe there, so I kind of, like, waste the time saved. And that was kind of, like... It was kind of common back then to kind of not consistently save time everywhere. Like, you would make kind of strange decisions. You make good decisions in some places, and not as good decisions in other places. Door decoder, press Z. Warp. Let's get a good Trev. Bad Trev. I guess his only slight, like, oddity was kind of getting boosted towards the lab area. Kind of, like, wasted a little bit of time, but other than that, it was fine. And then bad Trev, and he gets 56. And yes, he would be the one to tie 56. The reason Ace's 56 was never made, well, we'll find out in a minute. So here we go. In October 06, we can see 56 here, Santos and Ace, 56 here, Santos and Ace, then 46 Agent, Santos, and Ace. So this Santos character kind of showed up out of nowhere, so to speak, and got Facility 46 untied and 0056 untied. Yeah, it's always strange, especially back then it wasn't common for someone to show up and not really interact with the community and have video proof. A lot of times people with these claims would not have video proof, but he did, which was made things interesting. The legitimacy of his runs would, you know, be somewhat questioned. Not extensively, but somewhat. And I think we'll find more about that in a little bit. Because it was so strange to see, like, basically a random show up with videos of beating your times. And, obviously, you know, there's a language barrier there, so it makes it hard for him to explain how much time he spent, what his struggles were in getting the time, and kind of really suss out a feel for, you know, the stuff that kind of adds credibility to these runs. So, yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, interesting character in the history of Facility. Of course, Ace would tie 56 on October 10th. He never made a video of the 56 because a couple days later, on the 14th of October, he would get 55. Let's take a look. So we can see a lot more look down is being used here. And it's, you know, to a large extent, my 56 and Santos's 56s did have a couple slight issues. This run really doesn't have any issues, except for the bad Trev. But really looking down, really warping all the doors, never getting, like, boosted past a corridor or anything. And so it makes sense that he nailed this run and got 55. This was done on PAL console. Ace would have been 11 years old at the time. It's like, yeah, back then, I just kind of remember being more annoyed at Ace. Like, oh, some robot from across the world who, you know, isn't, he's a kid. What's he going to say that's interesting? He's beating all my times. Ugh. I remember just kind of being more annoyed. But now, I mean, I think we can all agree it's just more amazing that he could, you know, he's beating this mysterious Santos, who's a specialist on Facility. He's beating me, this rising star player. He's beating Wouter. He's beating Boss. He's beating everyone. And, yeah, it's amazing to see. So, Ace really killed it. He killed it. However, Santos wasn't to be outdone on his specialty stage. A month later, in November 06, Leonardo Santos would achieve this speedrun. Let's take a look. A tiny stuck on that door. That guard's out of the way. I thought I was going to get boosted there, but no dice. Warps that door. Mind boost, very clean. Gets to that door fine. A little hang up, but didn't matter because the door wouldn't have been open enough yet. Gets through there super clean with that beautiful headshot. Throws a mine. Gets the good doke, the 1 in 7 doke. Probably had runs just like this without doke, you know. 55 pace runs with no doke. I'm kind of expecting him to get a good trev, but let's see if my hunch is correct. Warps the door, gets down cleanly. Bad trev. Wow, you wonder if he would have got 54 if it was a good trev. But he played it really well. He got stuck on trev, couldn't get through, and he had enough sense of mind to go around the tank and finish the job. A lot of people would have choked. A lot of people may have, the pressure of a fast world record pace run may have gotten to them there in that moment. But it didn't get to Leo, so that was very clutchly played. I gotta give him huge props on that. Yeah, nice. "55 seconds by Leo Santos." Great stuff. This time was never destined to be some sort of elite record that no one could tie. So let's just blow through a couple runs here. Juno 7. Boss would join the duo. Yeah, you'll probably hear Trev pass away fairly often throughout the night if you listen closely. I'm expecting Boss, the run here, to like be very good. This was like the point in time where Boss is like realizing that Ace and Clem and myself and Alu are kind of on his tail, and he's got to like find ways to optimize stages. Like he's staying all in. See, he came up with warping that door. Right, Boss is like, I need to start innovating to really get things done here. He got a little bit of a hang up on the wall after Doke though. But I'm still expecting maybe this might be... See, he's trying to get a good trev by, like, doing a strange superstition, and it worked. You see? Detonate. Objective D completes early. Times the ending. No trev passing away there. And we get a facility secret 55. Very, very nice from Boss. It wouldn't be much later, actually only 5 days later. Oh, when Alu would join him, this run is actually like an Alu classic. It's not like a music video, it's not like a weird dramatized banjo video, but this one is actually a good view, so I'm just gonna, let's just watch this one in its full entirety.
Beg your pardon, forgot to knock. Fate.
Set time is 6 minutes. 6 minutes. Check.
Can't win.
Ormov is a much goofier character in the movie than I remember, I suppose. Yeah, funny stuff from Alu. One thing to note is that, like, this... So he doesn't warp that door, and he kind of gets trolled here. There's a guard in the way. If he was on, like, a faster or slower cycle, that guard wouldn't be further up the hall. So he kind of gets stuck there, and as a result, he takes a lot of damage from the mine. It worked out just fine, but, like, there's a chance that on Double O you probably would have passed away from that, so that's interesting to note. I wonder if maybe we're going to stop watching as much cutscene. There's not really a need to... It almost just became like a trend to watch the cutscene there. It wasn't even necessary, really, so... But yeah, integrating that slap scene from the movie with jumping down to the vents was a classic, and that was really funny from Alou. And he would actually be the guy to untie Double O Agent, if you recall that episode, 0055 back in January, and he wasn't known to be a facility player. So that was a kind of surprise untied, and then a few months later he would kind of finally match the 55 secret agents. That was cool. Now this video is a comparison I made between the last 4 runs we just watched. Santos, Ace, Boss, and Alou. There has been some speculation over the years, and see, they're all synced at the time when the first Trev message appears. There has been speculation over the years that Santos and some of his peers may have been overclocking. This is speculation. I don't want to slander the man, but there is speculation this was taking place because there was some posts found on some Brazilian forum where Santos is discussing overclocking, and I forget the context exactly, so I'm not going to mention it much more than that. I remember Carathorn brought it up to me around 2012 or 13, or maybe even earlier, and was like, I think Santos might be overclocking. I'm going to try to, like, become his buddy and then ask him for advice on how to overclock and, like, see if I can get any incriminating evidence against him, right? It's like, okay, good plan. Of course, me being me, and at the time not exactly being the most cool-headed person, I just went out there and was like, Santos is overclocking, fake, you know, I guarantee... Obviously, and so the plan didn't work out. Yeah, so that's kind of how I handled things back then. Obviously not great. Anyways, not good. So learn from my mistakes. However, what I found interesting was that when I compared the videos, it is true that watch whose message comes up next. Watch whose message comes up first. You know, it was Santos. Santos's for England James message comes up 2 frames before Ace's, which is like 3 frames before Alou's. Does this prove anything? I don't really think. I really don't think so. I think the discrepancy can be caused by video capture, right? But it is, given the whole context of Santos being this kind of unknown guy, who people kind of raised eyebrows when he first joined. It's really, yeah, it's impossible to know. And so all we can do is speculate. For what it's worth at this point in time, I'd be willing to give Santos the benefit of the doubt, and say I don't think that this was overclocked or otherwise trolled about. So there it is, facility 55s by the quartet of players throughout 2007 and later 06 as well. So okay, 2 more gents would get 55 before July 07 was out. I'm going to show these runs. One of them was Mouser Scribe. Believe it or not, one of them was Mouser Scribe. Let's take a look. So believe it or not, even though Mouser kind of had this sketchy situation on his 56s, he would get and prove 55, which is kind of cool. Nice warp. Nice mine. Boost. Door. Warp. Shoot through. He didn't go for a warp there, which is kind of interesting. Mine. Boost. Nice dope. Look, a bit of a hang up there, though. A bit of a hang up. He's going for a third. Look at that. That was really legit. The third, and then he's right at the door. That was pretty smooth. Boosting yourself to the door in such a way that you don't have to worry about the guards or anything. Weird mine detonation, but he got a good trev, and so he's in, and it's bingo bango. It's a 55. Time not saved, which is quite interesting. This happens when you fade the mission out on the last frame the mission fades out is the frame that the objective completes on. So like Trevelyan completed like there, you know, in that frame. Whereas in many other runs he'd complete in like one of these frames. But like on Mouser's run, Trev completed there. And the result of this is you don't get the ending cutscene of Bond walking in the door, and the best time doesn't save into the file. We accept these runs because it does say mission status completed, right? Completed mission, and it gives you a time in which the mission was completed, 55 seconds. That's why it counts in the rankings. And he wasn't the first person to get 55. Or he wasn't the first person to get a facility record with time not saved. On 00 and Agent this happened as well, so interesting stuff for Mouser. Cool run. Only 2 days later, one more bloke would join Mouser at 55. It was again myself. Of course, my own speedruns I love to dedicate. This one goes to the SpeedLore champion, Madry Bread. Thank you very much for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's take a look. Again, this one is muted. There are a couple music versions that exist. So I actually listened to the one before stream. It was a song I have no memory of making it. And then yeah, I made another one to set to What I've Done by Linkin Park, because I would have got this just after having viewed the Transformers movie. I was 17 at the time. I thought it was the best movie I've ever seen. You know, sometimes I still do. It's pretty epic, but it was a bit too cringy of a video, so we'll pass on showing that version for lore. But yeah, just another solid run. I get a good trev, of course I do. All my runs are good trev. That's not like blanket true. I got a lot of bad trevs, but I could only ever complete world records on runs with good trevs. And so there's my 55. Secret Agent, a nice time, a nice world record. And now there is a group of 6 men with facility 0055. We can see only 4 have 0055. Ace and myself have not yet gotten it. Boss has 45 Agent, which is pretty insane. And this point in time, July 07, brings us to the midway point of this facility Secret Agent speed lore. July 07, great times in the community. Things are heating up. A lot of players can contend for world records. But we can see Boss is creeping in there with a Facility Agent 45. He considered that one of his best records ever set when he had got it. One of his craziest runs ever. And it probably was. Of course, this is the time when Ace and Clem and so on are creeping up the rankings. And so Boss wants to keep making a name for himself, keep saying, I can still play with you guys, even at the best of times. So Boss wants to go for the Facility Untied Sweep. It's insane. It's crazy. But at the same time, we've seen the 54s, the 55s, some of them show potential for 54. There's some done with bad trevs, there's some with sort of stucks, and Boss's 55 was like the one that seemed to have the most kind of innovation to it. Like he was going for it. He wanted to figure out where to save tenths on different corners and whatnot. Boss was going for it. And so let's take a look at this insane speedrun by Boss from that summer, 2007. Crazy times. I certainly remember the summer of 07. July 28th. Insane. This run is historic and remarkable. It's dedicated to a SpeedLore champion, 4-Day Bender. Thank you for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon, 4-Day Bender. A loyal supporter as any. Here we go. Nice shots. Like, this is just so clean. Like, no hang-ups. Opens the door, warps. So he's gonna... Look at that. He learned that from Agent. His theory was that by eliminating those 3 guards with a mine boost, so you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone, getting a boost and passing away those guards, he's reducing lag in the labs. As a result, this is just an overall more optimal run. Mine, a touch of a hang-up there, but it gets a good trev. You only need 2 mines, we know this now. Detonate for England James. Exits, perfect timing. Cinema comes up. Facility Secret Agent 54. Amazing world record by Boss. I mean, that run, that was perfect, right? Like, is there anything else to say other than that was just perfect? I don't think so. Boss would go on to complete the Untied Sweep. Unbelievable. Getting 54 on 00 is like no easy task. Like, this keycard guard is so much tougher on 00 because your auto aim is worse. So like, for Boss to get 54 on Secret and 00 Agent within like a couple days here, it's astonishing. It's astonishing. Super clean, avoids getting stuck on the guards. And again, he would need to get these... I would say at this point on Facility, like earlier on you could argue that players like myself or Alex, who might not have been the most amazing Facility players, could get the world record due to a lack of consistency. If we had a decent run and Doak was there, we could probably get the record 57, 50, you know, we could do the trick. At this point in time, the level is rewarding consistency. Yeah, Doak's not there every time, but if you can get 54 pace runs all the time, one of them will have Doak, and you'll be able to complete the Facility Secret Agent 54, which Boss did, and it was amazing. Okay. Now, we're going to show... There's about a dozen runs left of world records on the stage. We're going to show every one, I believe. This 54 would remain untied for not quite 7 months. 7 months. But who would eventually catch up? Well, it was our pal, Dave Clemens. The truest of all faiths. He would come along and get a good run. I bet you this run's good. Honestly, Clem's runs would sometimes even have a noticeable error, so maybe there will be one. I honestly don't know. Like, he's... Yeah, there we go, look. He missed pressing B at the door. Obviously lost, like, a couple frames, maybe a couple tenths even. But because Clemens is so good, he can make up for it from his just overall better gameplay. Nice boost there. Gets the Doak. And Spinorama, Doak. Decoder. Pushed... Wow! Pushed way past. It doesn't, like, matter that much. Gets the, good Trevelyan. throws 2 mines. Detonate for England James. Opens the door in. Bingo bango. Blango. $54. Amazing, amazing record by Clem. That BBDC on the rankings. Now, you may have thought you've seen the last of who we're about to see next. It was 06 when Santos came along and got some good records on Facility. However, Santos would indeed, in February 08, reappear. And he would achieve Facility Secret Agent 54. And again, I mean, look, I carefully looked at his 55 there because, you know, there was some natural suspicion around this kind of unknown guy showing up getting Facility records, a couple untieds. And yeah, the text message came up a bit earlier than the others, but it seems to me there was nothing that was obviously amiss. I think Santos is just a very, very good Facility player, as we're seeing here. I'm going to go back even and show the left strafe after the sort of 3-guard hallway was very impressive. Let's see. He's got to have a good trev here. At this point in time, we got to be almost all good trevs. Unless, like, there's pure insanity. He's going 3 mines. He had a mine to spare. Works out. But you see, it's like 54. Great run. You see, what gives me hesitation is, like, he didn't do the second mine boost there. Thus, he didn't pass away those 3 guards. And, like, the game is running so smooth for him. It's obviously very, very hard to tell because of the capture quality. But it's like, you look at this run and you're like, man, this is looking unexpectedly smooth. You know? Back in the day, I was remiss or now, I'm more remiss to mention, like, oh, this guy might, like, who knows? This is kind of sketchy. You know, in earlier SpeedLore episodes, it's kind of more fun to speculate on these things, but there's just something, I just can't help it. You know, I just can't help but think, like look how fast his cursors move. It's like, I don't want to say it, but, like, you know what? We'll leave it at that. At the end of the day, it's all water under the bridge. Santos doesn't appear again in this episode, but he's an important figure to move along the story at the time in Facility world record. So there's that. Santos 54. Yeah, I'd love to see Santos even just comment if he shows up and just say, like, what? Just say, hey, no, it was legit. Even that would be cool. Even that would be cool. So, okay. Next run is going to be a month later. Our pal, Perfect Ace. This appears to be his, like, early NTSC captures. I wonder if there is... Oh, I have audio up full. There's no audio. Really nice warp there. So 1 mine, 2 mines, passing away the... You know, Mystic Cheese, that is a great question, too. That's a real... Okay, so this is Perfect Ace in a nutshell for you. Yeah. Like, that was a stuck of more than 1 second. And given that, spoiler alert, this is a 54-second run, this sort of guarantees that 53 is confirmed possible. I mean, Ace's game is running pretty smoothly as well. Right? It is difficult to tell based on these less good captures. Yeah, 54 by Ace. It does look like a Charlie Chaplin speedrun, yeah. I mean, this stuck, it's over a second. That's like at least a full second. 53 confirmed possible. You know, speaking of strangeness and anomalies, hey, it's time for the monthly Henning Blom run. Henning would be one of the chaps who tied Facility 54. The only thing, like, assuming there's even a chance that this run was faked, which I don't believe it to be, the most obvious thing to fake would be to use a Game Shark to guarantee Doak is in the best location every run. That would actually be extremely helpful. I'm not sure if a code for that was known at the time. It may not have been known. I'm sure today, with EverDrives and memory hacking and so on, you could do it, but back then I don't know that such a thing would have been known or doable. I think this run by Henning was legit. He was a very skilled player, and this is his 54 secret agent. But I mean, it is worth noting when you're talking about players who've been removed, where you could fake the run if you were going to do such a thing. '54 Secret Agent by Henning Blom. Very nice stuff. So here's the rankings at the end of December 2008. At this point, I'm starting to kind of mentally check out, even though I still have a couple records. You know, we can see it's dominated by Boss, Ace, Clem. A lot of Clem, a lot of Ace. They're good. They're good players. We've seen for sure that 53 is possible, only based on Ace. Ace is 54 with a huge stock. These records would remain the same throughout 2009 into 2010. And for some insane reason, in May 2010, Ace and Clem would go on some sort of wild rivalry attempting to get 53. On Double O Agent, they would actually achieve 53 on the very same day, May 25th. I mean, it shows you how intense the rivalry was at the time. Ace would have been, 15. Ace is a 5-year veteran of the game at this point at the age of 15, and Clem is, in his mid-20s, grinding hard. A week before they got 53 on Double O Agent, one of them would succeed in getting 53 Secret Agent first. It was indeed Dave Clemens. Let's take a look. Seven shots. Very quick. Really nice room. Beautiful warp. One mine. Perfect mine location. Starts firing. Beautiful door open. Nice mine. Doak. A bit of a weird hit there, but didn't really lose time. Probably gets a boost to the door. Definitely has good trev here. Time not saved. Time not saved. Pretty insane. I think the comments on this vid are kind of classic 2010 as well. Let's see. Someone's asking why doesn't save. Remixes Song of Storms. Okay, so they're not that weird or troll. Yeah, insane run. The one thing I'm going to point out that's really good in this run is the placement of this mine. This isn't something you can really control, but like throwing it there, see how it's on the ground, a little bit. Wow, that is severe ghosting. Holy smokes. See what's on the ground, like, a few feet outside the door? Now he can detonate it, like, earlier and take much less damage. And so we can throw that one down earlier. It's like a much cleaner section, as opposed to throwing it on the, like, door or wall there. It's not really something you can, like, control based on where... It's, like, very precise. It's not even, like, necessarily a time-saving thing, but boosts are sort of seen as better, more fruitful, the less damage you take a lot of the times. And so it's very nice to get, like, a 0 damage boost. Yeah, I mean, at this point in time... Oh, wow. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, Truer Faith is in chat saying, this mine throw, see how it went up over here? Most of the time you're trying to throw it, like, on this wall. Right? You're trying to throw it, like, right here is ideal. But he misses that, and it ends up going on that wall, right? Now, it wasn't that far up, but if you hit it, like, up here, there's a good chance that 3 scientists will pass away in that room. And so you'll fail Objective E, which is minimize scientist casualties. So there was, like, a minor chance that almost happened. I guess his mine throws were a bit wacky on this run, but... yeah, amazing, amazing speedrun. Yeah, oh, see, I didn't know that's what caused it, Clem. I knew that sometimes scientists pull the grenade, and that in that case, Objective E would fail, like, now, which is so troll. But what happens is, if one scientist passes away, and another scientist sees this happen, they'll pull a grenade. This is new knowledge for me. I only thought that scientists pulled a grenade if you shot them twice. That's the only thing I ever thought could happen. So I thought when scientists pull a nade on Secret Agent, that they took, like, some very slight damage from the flames. But, like, that makes a ton of sense. That's crazy. Wild stuff. Historic, amazing run, 53. Hey, 10 years ago, great record. However, like I alluded to earlier, Ace was engaged in an insane rivalry with Clem. 3 days later, Ace would achieve this time. Yeah, I might check that out, honestly, after stream. I might, like, go and look at Facility SA and, like, see what happens. Okay, nice. 2 boosts. A bit of a missed warp there. Wouldn't have... insane clutch headshot. Beautiful warp. You know, that missed warp was not even, like, a full missed warp. It was, like, maybe a couple tenths. Well, stuck there, but he got a boost away from it. You know, and again, at this point in time... Oh my god, Ace selected the key card. He lost, like, a couple frames there, too. That happens, like, often. If you're playing grinding level, it happens often. Yeah, at this point, like, consistency is key. Getting 53 pace runs to Doak. That's how to get 53, and of course, Ace did just that. Now, what is very remarkable is that, remember, this was May 2010. A full 2 years later on the rankings, August 2012, still only Clem and Ace at 53. That really shows you how great these times are. You know, we have some insane stuff on the rankings. The Dam records, Surface 1 148, Silo 101. We have some really good records. Yet the 53s are still DCRI. What may be more unbelievable is that no one else would ever achieve 53 as a world record. No. You could sort of see, well, I don't even know what you could see. But Ace saw something. And on Christmas Eve 2012, in the nascent Twitch era, perfect ace, we get our speedrun so remarkable it can only be dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, Corey Meyer. Thank you for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's watch this mind-blowing speedrun by Perfect Ace. Six shots there. 6 or 7 will get the door open. 5 sometimes will, but not usually. Ah! A new strategy has been developed. Don't worry, we will go back and explain the technique there. You get fewer mine boosts, but it's like, it's worth it. It was originally discovered as a way to make 44 agent easier, but yeah, it would be a big deal. It would change the way facilities played forever. Facility Secret Agent 52. Wow, it's insane. So the idea is this. If you cut both of the cinemas right away, the guards are on cycles walking up and down. Some of them are. Like, that guy isn't, these 3 aren't. But some of the guards are on cycles walking through the facility. If you cut both cinemas right away and are on what would be 45 agent, 54 secret agent pace, and then you shoot 12 times down this hallway, this door can be open for you. You lure a guard to open that door with all the shots. That saves, I don't want to say like a full second, but it might be around a second. Like around a second is fair. Even though you don't get the self boosts, right? You were getting 2 self boosts there, now you get 0. It still saves like a second. And well, you can only shoot in bursts of 3 with the KF7. So yeah, it's insane. It's what makes this really interesting though is like on Agent it works great. Ace would use this to untie Agent. 3 days later he'd get 43 Agent. So like obviously Ace is playing Facility with the new strat. He's killing it. But Double O Agent would be very hard because on Double O you only get 10 ammo from this guy here instead of 15. 15 alone is enough to do the trick. But if you have only 10, you can't pull this off. So you need to shoot another guard and get 10 more ammo for 17 total for it to work on Double O Agent. So Ace would not get 52 Double O right away. And this is the point in time when there becomes a marked difference between the world record or good times on Secret and Double O Agent, with Double O Agent being much, much more difficult at this point. For England, decompleted, bingo, bango, Facility 52. Wow. Okay. Now we're going to take a bit of a, do I want to say, comic relief. With the advent of Twitch, of course, a lot of players are beginning to stream their attempts. Some, and you know, with streaming, you get some great successes and also some tremendous fails. In early 2013, Jimbo is playing Facility Secret Agent for 55 seconds. He has 56 as his PB. Yes, indeed, it is the hapless Jimbo. He, 55's not even the world record, right? But it's probably worth like 10 or 15 points for him on the ranking. So he wants 55 as a new PB. He's obviously a good enough player to get it, right? you know, he's a good player. He's a career player who's been in and out of the top 10 and mostly in the top 10. So he should be able to get runs of the pace of 55 seconds. Okay. Well, let's just watch it and enjoy and relish in. Sometimes there's good times to be had, and we can laugh at everyone's. Look, everyone has these sort of incidents, and what good are they if not to have a laugh and a snicker every now and then?
You can make Mark really cry. I think it's a true sign of start carding. Boy, I don't know what the hell that means. I think it's good. This is going to be close. I don't know. I need a good Trev, really, for any realistic shot. No! I didn't open the door! Damn it! You gotta be f***ing kidding me. No! Damn it! Oh my god! Oh! Oh my god! Oh my god, I can't do this anymore. This is unreal! That was not 54 page. Oh my god. It was a 55, it wasn't 54. Oh my god.
I agree it was probably 55, but like, he has to tell himself yeah, there you go. Clem's like telling him, oh, it might have been 54. And so he has to cope by saying it's 55. Yeah, really funny. Interestingly, you can actually hear the scientists. I bet this mine passed away a scientist, and a scientist threw a grenade. Kind of sounds like that. And so I'm surprised Objective E didn't fail here.
This is going to be close. I don't know. I need a good Trev, really, for any realistic shot.
Right there you could hear someone pass away. It might have been two nades. It might have been like so laggy that the scientists unloaded, and that's why it survived. But like, just imagine the alternate universe where instead of this, we get a 55 scientist fail from Jimbo. That would have been honestly just as good. And I love at the end here how he bashes the table and the camera like slowly shifts.
Oh, I didn't open the fucking door!
The camera. It's just it's brilliant, and honestly, these are what this is what makes streaming amazing at times, right? It's about the whole journey, the up and down, the good and bad. Jimbo would go on to get 55 about a month after this, so it wasn't all for naught. And nowadays, he has a happy and healthy newborn daughter. It's going to be her first Christmas coming up. And so he's occupied with that and very happy. He'll give us updates all the time about his new life with baby. And hey, so things are good for Jimbo. This Facility 56, not the least of his worries from 7 years ago. So just a good time to be had over here. Well, switching from the hapless, or now happy, Jimbo, it is time for the notorious speed villain known as Mark Rutsu. And Mark was starting to play again. He just got Facility 43. Again, using the shooting to lure the open door. I don't think Jimbo was using that yet. But Mark will definitely use it here. Oh, a grenade went on way back there. I think it's Mark's DLTK video, Jorsit. Yeah, the audio is strange because of the PAL-TC converter and Mark's capture, probably. It's like a cascading issue. Chucks the mine. Chucks the mine. 52 seconds by Mark Rutsu. This is October 2013. Pretty insane. Yeah, he did open the door. Okay. Even at this point in time, January 2014, Ace is already posting that he is failing 51 pace runs, which is pretty remarkable. I guess Trev, he either left too early or Trev passed away. He also claims he got a 53 bad Trev with 2 missed warps. Yeah. I mean, Ace is cooked. Is he exaggerating? You know, I don't know. It's really, who knows? I guess we'll find out in time if Ace is actually pacing 51 or not. In June 2014, we would see Luke Sklarz show up, and Luke at this point would be rising up the ranks. He might have gotten up to like 3rd place by this point in time. He was playing with purpose. He would eventually go on and become the champion of the game. But this run is going to be another goodie. He did get a minor stuck on the door before the keycard guard. It was like, you know, less than a tenth or less than a tenth. A bit of a strange rolling guard got in his way there. He only shot like 9 bullets to lure the guard open as well, which is like, at this point in time, we know that's enough with good speed. Good use of mines to boost. This is like one of the cleanest. Oh, this is interesting. Warp, detonate, get a boost down the stairs. Of course, because we're shooting now in the main hallway, there's only room to use 2 mines, not 3. But we can use a 3rd. And so Luke has chosen that spot to use his 3rd. Which is actually like a callback to some of the very, very early Agent runs. I believe like around 2001, people were doing that on Agent. Putting the mine there to get 2 boosts down the stairs. So hey, very intelligent to do that. To think, you know, most of the time people would think about a strategy that's kind of fallen off the wayside and think, okay, it's no good anymore, no one's using it anymore. But to think about like, how might this actually be useful still? That's very intelligent, and he used that to get a 52. Very, very nice run by Luke Sklarz. On his way to champion, of course. Okay, in January 2015, we would get this run by another future champion of the game. This is indeed Wotus, just a couple weeks after returning home from AGDQ 2015. So we go. At this point, we're seeming to get about 152 per year, roughly. He's going really fast. I'm assuming this isn't... Oh, back boost. I'm assuming this is not 2.x quite yet. Although some players would 2.x it up in the near future. I don't know if we'll see any of them, but like people do play 2.x on facility nowadays. Red Clemens, so he's also doing the same technique, warp, get down the stairs cleanly, get a nice boost, good trev. Very nice. Beautiful. Bingo bang. I mean, these runs are just becoming textbook, well executed. I mean, I don't want to say they're becoming routine, because they are amazing runs, extremely hard to execute, but like they're making them look routine. They're that good, you know. This run's interesting because, you know, Jono DSX Corner, who is the sort of brains behind the Kapap trilogy, would go to GDQ 2015. He would want to make like some sort of epic video, like a documentary style video. Of course, once you get to a convention like Atmosphere, oftentimes you just don't. You drop the ball. You don't actually work as hard as you thought you were going to, if at all. And so he never made the video, but on his way back to Australia, he stopped at Wotus's and hung out with Wotus for a little bit. And so he wanted to make something. So Wotus got this run, and they made a video called a GoldenEye Odyssey, which is like an hour-long sort of tour video and interview and so on. It's way too long to even incorporate into SpeedLore, but I mean, I'll link in the thread, certainly. Give it a look if you're hungry for more elite-related content and even deeper lore. That's certainly out there as well. So, yeah, the cool stuff, and a kind of a new classic video that those two guys would whip up. Okay, next is, well, it's the interesting, unorthodox video of the night. A new strategy theoretically exists. If you watch the iceberg video, you might know where this is headed even. Where you skip pausing for the door decoder. Now, it is an objective to pick it up, so you still need to talk to Doak. This was sort of discovered by Randy Buikima. If you shoot inside one of the labs, you can lure a guard to open the bottling room door. This run is the fastest run in the rankings that exhibits the strategy. It's a 58-second run. It's not world record pace. The strategy may be able to get world record pace runs. It's a very chaotic strategy. No one has used it on a faster run than this yet. It may even be the ticket to world records or untied world records. I honestly don't. Like, it's really hard to know. If this saves time, if it doesn't save time, obviously you get to skip the pause, which loses 5 seconds, but you have to make a little bit of a detour. This run is performed by Birdie. Very remarkable run. We're going to dedicate it to our aficionado of strange and unique runs, our SpeedLore champion, Mr. Moxie. Enjoy this run. Let's take a look. Yeah, so a huge plus with this strategy is you can probably get Dr. Doak from 2 locations instead of just the one. Because you go into the one room, and you're shooting to open the door and he's in that room, maybe. Or, if he's not there, you can also turn and make a quarter of a second detour to see him in the usual location. And you'll see what I mean here in a second. So, KF7, shooting a bunch of times over here. Doak's there. Doak goes into the decoder. Gets a bit of a stuck. This door now is open. He warps the door. He did not have to skip the pause. Wow, no detour at all from according to Flickr. Very interesting. Like, I really do think this strategy is the best when going for like 57, 58. If you're a newish player, but you're good and you just want to get a quick PB, I think this is the strategy you should use. Double Doak odds. Yeah. Will this strat be used to get a faster time than that? I don't know. It's kind of, it's really, really hard to know. I want to see someone get 53 with it, honest. I think 53 is definitely doable with it, maybe 52. And who knows, it might end up being the faster strategy. And that might just be no one's, like, awoken to this knowledge yet. So, hey, I guess time will find out. Birdie calls it the double doke lean. Good name for it. And, like, his 56 is probably not with this doke lean. Yeah, his 56 is the more traditional doke, doke location. Up next, we see another world record on New Year's Day, 2018, by the quiet Dan Swiss Parker. Very, very skilled player. Been in the top 10 the most of, like for the majority of the past 5 years, I would say. Swisso never, like, you know, or rarely makes huge waves, but a very, very skilled, very consistent player. And I'm... Wow. You can see how skilled... Look at that. A new technique for approaching doke. Probably faster. Probably faster. So instead of doing a little spinorama, you kind of do a little juke, strafe into the pillar, and then maintain your strafe away from doke. And, I mean, look, he was able to acquire a 52-second run despite quite a bad stuck. 52. Insane. Yeah, he gets... Like, this is maybe a full second, or close... Like, jeez. Does this mean 51 is possible with this doke method? With that doke approach? It might be. Like, that was pretty cooked. Very nice run by Swiss. And one other gentleman would also get 52 about a week later in early 2018. This is, of course, Carl Jobst. At this point in time, he was just cruising through the game. He had just come off of Dan 52 and Archives 15 and all that good stuff. So he's playing with fire, with passion. Obviously, his passions have shifted somewhat. That was quite lucky. The guard is pulling the grenade there. That's going to pass away those guards and reduce lag later on, even though it'll be a bit leggy right now. Carl goes for the new doke approach. This has now become the new technique here. So he's selecting mines, then decoder. Now we can press it. He gets the throw mine right there. Again, this is like the sort of optimal strat is sorted out. We know how it works. We know how to get these times. But of course, to execute it is something different, and Carl was playing very well at the time. He goes out and executes it and gets Facility Secret Agent 52. Amazing run. And so in February 2018, of course, 52 is an insane time, and yet 6 people are shown with it. I wonder why Ace is shown second. I'm not sure about that, why Ace is shown as the second person at 52 here. He might have had his times, like, temporarily removed or something, but maybe we'll find out in a bit. Ace now is up to 10 Facility 52s, mostly bad Trevs, through 2019. Ace is going for 51. Yeah. Would he get it? Clearly Ace has been playing for 51 on and off for 5.5 years. Like, this post is from 2014. Unbelievable. And, wow. Yeah, Ace has been going for 51 on and off for 5 years. However, on September 1st, 2019, Perfect Ace would achieve this speedrun. 6 shots, really nice. Insane pace. Like, this is just going to be the god run, you know? Nice boost, nice approach. Like a very minor trollery on that one guard. The distance from the pause didn't even matter because it was still within the range of hitting the decoder. Good Trev. Mine, the pressure here is so insane. You can choke those mines. He's out. The time has saved. Facility Secret Agent 51. A new, untied world record. Unbelievable. One of the finest runs we've ever witnessed in GoldenEye history. Ace says, I can finally post the picture I made 6 years ago. He made the picture ready to post it if he were to get 51. Finally, September 2019, he can post it. Interestingly, there was this recent thread made, most caked, least caked times. You know, it's an interesting read if you want to get some insight onto some of the speedrunners. Ace says that his most caked time ever was Streets 00 and has some others very interesting. However, his least caked time, Facility SA 51, 250 hours, he estimates. Early January 2014, he started going for it. It took him 5.5 years. I mean, I titled the Bunker 1 SA episode Ace's White Whale. Like, this was a huge quest for him to get this time. Finally, he succeeded after 200 hours. But he considers Facility 51 to be even more so. So that's quite the thing to consider. And, alas, there we are, 51 Secret Agent. Now, what is interesting with 51 Secret Agent is, of course, the last time we did a SpeedLore on this episode, this was the state of Facility 00. Ace and Luke had 52. And it would remain that way for the next 3 years. We know 51's possible. We know the new strategy and techniques have been sort of sorted out. Wotus is going for 51 earlier this year. Or he's going for 5200, trying to catch up this, tie the Ace and Luke time. And he would get one of the most amazing speedruns ever performed. Of course, this is 00 Agent, not Secret Agent. But what would happen here is truly astonishing. Insane headshot. He needs another headshot there, or, you know, because he needs more bullets to do the lure. 12 shots. He's through. He needs 6 shots there to get that door lured. Insane boost. Great Doke approach. Decoder. Getting boosts on 00 is tricky too because you're more likely to pass away. Nice warp. Gets the boost. Mine. He's just going for 52. He knows this run has a chance at 51 though, because this was a magnificently played run. And Facility 00 51. Wotus skipped 52 Fastest run of the Dakota, probably. Had a few 51 paces. This was the only one with Doak. Unbelievable. He has an 8-minute epic video to celebrate this record. Obviously, I'm not going to show it on YouTube. It has copyrighted music. I'll link it certainly, though. It's pretty insane. I mean, it's a hell of a skip. Obviously, it was out there because 51, if you play perfectly, is paceable. It's kind of one of those things that can happen on levels that have a luck factor like Doak. You know, tonight I don't think I was able to really send home just how much of a luck factor Doak can be. 1 in 7 runs only. You know, 6 out of 7 runs get tossed away. They can be 51 pace at the end and no luck. Yeah, 00 is insanely more hard because you need to get more ammo from one of these guards here. And that's not easy. It's much easier said than done. So amazing. I mean, is 50 possible? I don't even want to necessarily say it is right now. I don't see any way for 50. So these 51s are the records as they are for the time being. Obviously, either of Ace or Wotus could tie the other 51. Clearly, they've shown the skill for it. So that could happen. Who knows if it will. And, yeah, even guys like Swiss's 52 had that stuck. So he might be capable of 51. You know, a lot of good players are probably capable of 51. But for right now, this is the way it is. You know, people were kind of hoping Ace would 51 and fulfill the untied sweep, you know, by getting 51-00, but that never happened. Ace still has 52. And, yeah, I mean, sometimes, you know, when I see an insane run or get to the end of a lore, all I can do is just kind of marvel in the glory of what we've witnessed over the past couple hours. And, yeah, I'm not quite at a loss of words, but I'm pretty close. Amazing stuff. And it really is one of the most iconic levels in all of GoldenEye, maybe the most iconic. Facility, it's the second level. Everyone made it to Facility, everyone played Facility. It's also a multiplayer level, so, you know, it's just, yeah, a signature stage of the game and some signature speedruns we've witnessed tonight. That's for sure. Amazing stuff by all the runners featured in tonight's episode. And hey, who knows what stories will be left to be told. That's it. That's the story of Facility Secret Agent. The insane journeys, grinds, amazing world records, and all that lay within. A huge thanks to the SpeedLore legends for supporting the series on Patreon all throughout the year. Your support makes the series possible, so I'm truly appreciative of it. And of course, thanks to everyone else, the SpeedLore champions, all the other supporters, the viewers, the chatters, the lurkers. Every single one of you plays a role in the telling of these stories. Of course, thanks to our SpeedLore co-researcher, Joris Cuvedo, and everyone else who suggested runs and so on, or who has throughout this year. I mean, hey, it would be impossible for me to find every relevant run myself, so those help immensely. I'm always appreciative of that. So these tales, you know, it's epic to immortalize these tales this way, and hopefully that's what we're doing here. That's all for Season 4 of SpeedLore, believe it or not. But we will be back in December, you know, maybe into early January, with 2 year review streams, one each for GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, There's just too many records to get through this year, so it'll be at least 2 streams. And of course, going into 2021 with Season 5, leading to the grand finale of GoldenEye SpeedLore. Well, that's quite something to chew on, so I'll leave it at that. Wishing you all the best in health, happiness, peace, and prosperity. Stay true, my friends, and I'll see you in the next stream or video. Good night.